Stars and galaxies sparkled and swirled in all their color and light. I crossed my arms, and a shiver curled along my spine as I reacclimated. Where was my physical body? I took a step back and yelped as my body collided against someone else's. I turned, only to come face to face with Lucius. His nostrils flared, his energy subdued in this realm, but visible enough to be dark and fiery. He was even wearing his silly golden crown. My blood boiled. Now I understood completely. You! I spat, taking a quick step back. Me? He parroted. A vein pulsed in his neck. I feel like that should have been my line. What? I shook my head. Was it not enough to force yourself on me in the physical realm? Now you have to do it in my dreams? I clenched my fists, my power preparing for both aggression and defense at once. The rage on his face dissolved, replaced by amusement and a smirk. My physical body was in Iciera with Daelon. Yes, it was all coming back to me. We freed the truth from Lucius's magical binds, survived our escape, and made it to a remote coven hidden from the king's reign of terror. You lost, Lucius. Now leave me the fuck alone. He laughed, but his eyes were dark and calculating as he studied me. His gaze traveled the length of my body, and I realized in horror that I was somehow still wearing the black slip. You're the one who pulled me here, dear Áine, he said softly. But I would love to hear more about this dream of yours. Then I remembered how he'd slit Santana's throat in retaliation, her blood flowing toward me like a river as I left her behind. Seething hatred rippled through my blood, almost as deep as the sour taste of guilt. Lucius's contemplative gaze and cocked head, and the way the corners of his lips were turned up, was the last image I saw before I exploded in a burst of white, hot light and snapped back into my body. Daelon and I were cocooned together, my nude body against his under a pile of blankets. My head was on his chest, my legs tangled with his as his arms held me to him. We must have dozed off again soon after awaking the first time in this new place. This free place. The smell of spices and cooking still wafted through the air, and my stomach rumbled in response. The hunger pangs were sharp and biting now. My adrenaline had been pumping too strongly before for me to feel any pain at all, aside from the utter anguish of witnessing my new friend bleeding out on the ground before us. I hadn't eaten since before I died. I died. Then I'd escaped the supposed all-powerful, illegitimate king of Aradia with the love of my life. It had been an eventful week. I knew that Daelon had barely eaten or slept the 4 days I was dead, during which he guarded my lifeless body like a feral animal, driving himself to hallucinations. I shuddered, nuzzling closer to his bare chest. I counted his heartbeats, listening for their steady rhythm to ground me here, to keep me from slipping into the memories that haunted and tormented. Like when I thought he'd died in my arms out in the snow, when all the hope of our deliverance had been replaced by desperation and terror. He stirred when I clutched him tighter, and his heart picked up its pace. I lifted my head, suddenly aware of the faint humming and footsteps somewhere nearby. I figured it was the woman who rescued us, but I didn't think much about her now as I found Daelon's eyes. You need to eat, I blurted. He blinked. Then he broke out into a slow grin. Isn't that my line? I started to smile back, but those words brought back the memory of my dream and subsequent astral travel. It could be hard to tell the difference between the two, but I knew the first was a dream because it was hazier now that I was in waking life. The second felt just as real as any other memory, which meant either Lucius had found a way to twist my dreams into the creepy and demented, for whatever.